All right, good evening. We'll go ahead and call this regular meeting to order for Thursday, June 19th, 2025 at 5:30 PM at the Emmett Shockley Administration Building. Mr. Kroll.
Yes, sir. Mrs. Cameron?
Present.
Mrs. Paez?
Present.
Mr. Roscoe?
Present.
Mrs. Crumley?
Present.
Mr. Kroll present.
Pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Salute the flag, the spirit, the spirits of war, and cultures.
All right, and onto approval of agenda changes, removing item G from the agenda. Any other changes? Tied to that one? I'll entertain a motion.
I move to approve the agenda.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Kroll.
Mrs. Crumley?
Yes.
Mr. Roscoe?
Yes.
Mrs. Paez?
Yes.
Mrs. Cameron?
Yes.
Mr. Kroll, yes.
Just a note in the audience as we go to public comment. Mr.
You can do it.
Nick. You need it one more time, Nick. Wolgamuth. Our new superintendent is in the crowd tonight, so just want to say welcome and thank you again. So, the public comment. The reports, okay. Onto reports. Summer lunch program presentation, student nutrition.
President Roscoe, and I'm superintendent, members of the board, presenting on the summer lunch program. For the past 25 years, the nutrition department has operated the summer lunch program. And it's been an extension to the DPS summer school and district summer programs. Serving in the parks was a courtesy to the community, not a requirement. The requirement on the district and department is that school sites are considered open sites, meaning anyone from the public can go to school sites and get a free meal if we are participating and preparing and serving meals at that site. Summer meal guidelines are to be 18 and under, prepare meals meeting the federal nutrition guidelines, provide tables and seating. This is also in the park setting. Child needs to be present to receive the meal. Every meal received needs to be eaten on site. No grab and go meals. Provide drinking stations. This is also in the park setting, and follow New Mexico environmental food regulations. The decision to not serve meals in the park was a district level decision made at my 2024 budget meeting. Within that meeting, the superintendent, executive director of HR, chief financial officer, and myself were present. The discussions that were made within that meeting from the superintendent was to focus on district-related summer school programs, nutrition staff safety, keeping meal sites on school property and out of the elements of local parks, reduction in nutrition budget due to low enrollment and lower participation, and excess cash loss during COVID. Other reasons that were brought up was the staff and well-being of employees who were requesting the summers off, aligning the nutrition staff with other district contract days. Community also can take advantage of the 4 to 5 mobile sites that are around the community. The year-to-year staff raises that are not covered by federal programs. Therefore, the nutrition department must cover those with our federal funds. Operational budget cannot sustain the summer lunch program. Reduced employee contract days will help sustain nutrition budget during the school year. And then on the nutrition side of it, it's the overall health and safety of the staff. The nutrition team does not have access to bathroom facilities when they're in the parks. the heat exhaustion, the temperatures that they have to sustain when they're out there. It's the safety elements, whether in the parks, my team has dealt with individuals who have threatened them with weapons. They also have been either bitten and or chased by stray dogs. They have dealt with the individual getting into fistfights within their setting. They've dealt with the individual screaming, yelling, and threatening them as they try to follow the guidelines to serve these meals. I've worked with the city, the county, and the district, and everybody's been very accommodating, but the safety hazards are still there. And that ultimately came down to the reason to pull out the team from the parks and put them in the school settings. Since with our summer lunch program, it's considered open sites anyways. At that point, the district leadership was going to inform the board and the district of the summer changes. And then as far as the department, we were going to go ahead and go on. We were informing our team of the changes. Our managers are the ones that are currently running all of our summer programs. They are at 240. And then we were to put out the same process and put out our flyer, which we did at the end of May, and we posted that on the DPS website. I stand for questions.
Question?
I understand. I got some things to say. Because I got several people from the county that called me that we weren't gonna have that. We were never, the board here was never told about this. We really were not. And we got a lot of calls. Obviously, we're having it at the high school. I'm assuming that's going very well, or
So there was actually 3 sites, and that was on the flyer that I put out at the end of May. But then the district turned around and put out another flyer, so we pulled ours because they were contradicting each other. So the 3 sites was actually RST, Columbus, and the high school.
so there is lunches being served in Columbus for sure.
There, yes, because we had those sites open because we have school programs as well happening.
But that program
But
is done, right?
It is done, but what happens at those sites is that the community has to come there and they actually have to eat there and keep their meals there.
What kind of participation do you have at those sites? Or-
Very, very low, yes. Even at the high school, we have an average of 6 kids a day.
A day? And
Mhm.
how many meals do you prepare for that?
We're not very many because we knew that
No.
we weren't gonna have very many. So yes, we haven't had any food waste with that.
How about in Columbus? How many people there?
We haven't had anybody in Columbus and nobody at RST.
That's interesting. Wow.
Only had our school, only had our school.
Last
Programs.
It was only 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
If you don't mind me asking, so last summer, how many students did you have at each of the sites?
At each site, I couldn't give you the numbers at each site, but if you wanted Columbus specifically, we had an average kids, but 25 to 30 of those were part of our migrant program.
But you had much more participation at the parks?
At the parks, we had participation, but it was very low.
But it was more than you have now.
Currently, yes. Yes.
Any other questions, comments by the board?
Thank you for giving us all that detailed information. We didn't have all those details before today, so thank you.
Thank you. And with that, on to staff recognition.
Number 7. Not all, no.
Minute executive decision, ratio.
Sweet.
Mr. President, members of the board, Superintendent Nips. Proud to announce that 2 of our outstanding staff members have been selected as recipients of the New Mexico School Boards Association Excellence in Student Achievement Award. This prestigious recognition honors individuals who have played an important role in improving our students' experiences across the district. It's sponsored by NMSBA and it's presented by you all, the local school boards across our local school board, but they're done across New Mexico, and the award celebrates dedication, innovation, and impact. This year, 189 individuals were recognized across 64 districts, and we're thrilled that 2 of them are from Deming Public Schools. With that, Mr. Orozco.
So the first recipient is Mr. Ben Glickler, Director of Technology. He is recognized as our, for his visionary leadership, timeless efforts to ensure that our students are equipped to succeed in today's digital learning environment. Mr. Glickler leads his team with a clear focus on efficiency, equity, and innovation through strategic planning, timely infrastructure upgrades, and effective use of federal E-rate programs. He has secured substantial savings for the district, literally hundreds of thousands of dollars, while expanding technological access and support across all schools. Mr. Glickler has done an amazing job the whole time that I've been a part of the board. A lot of times he comes to us with issues or things that we need to spend money on, but he also brings his resources with him to how we're going to effectively fund those resources. And a lot of times it's very little out of pocket for the district, for the taxpayers, for everybody concerned. And so we greatly appreciate what you've done, Mr. Glickler, and the strides that you've made for the district. You're the way that you handle things for the district. I know there's a lot of districts across the state that have been compromised in some form or fashion, and we haven't had to worry about that since you've been at the helm. So we really do appreciate that, sir. Yes, sir. It's an ever-changing deal, and yes, knock on wood, it's an ever-changing deal, but you've done a great job. So we really do appreciate you. So.
This is from.
And the board also nominated Mrs. Melanie Reinhardt, Executive Director of Learning Services. We wanted to recognize your hands-on leadership and your unwavering commitment to supporting the staff and the students. We recognize that last year you stepped up during the time of transition to lead even a school site directly hands-on there in person. Your leadership has brought about necessary changes to district procedures and schedules across all of our schools. We just wanted to recognize that we appreciate that your operations remained effective and in full compliance with state requirements, all while supporting a culture of learning and high expectations. And we do see that and appreciate you very much. I speak for the board in that we are all honored to present the NMSBA Excellence in Student Achievement Award to the two of you. Your commitment to student success and your leadership in times of challenge and change last year are deeply, deeply appreciated. So thank you guys so much.
We do thank you guys, and it's unfortunate we can't pick more because we do have a bunch of good people working.
Yes, we were
limited. And so it's unfortunate we're limited, but man, we have some people across this district that doing amazing things. So please keep doing what you're doing. It benefits us, it benefits the community, it benefits the kids. So it's great. So thank you.
Yes, thank you guys.
Yeah.
Yes.
You've been at the helm, man. Come on in the middle. You guys are in the middle.
I just want to say thank you.
Yeah, we got the memo. Is that no?
Yeah, that's no.
Thank you. You guys doing the middle?
Yeah.
You're in the middle of it.
Oh, sorry.
Let's do both and then we'll do one. There you go.
You want to go first?
Yeah, there you go. We'll do one like this and then. one.
It's your today, go.
No, that's not even.
1, 2, 1, 2.
Don't have to run. First time.
And we guys stay there just.
Stay there for a second. So this next one, this person's probably gonna be not upset, but maybe just shocked. But the last few months have been tough for us as a district, trying to make some transitions, trying to go through the budget, trying to go through superintendent search, trying to go through, just the finishing out a school year job. And all the issues that come along on a daily basis. So the lady that's been at the helm of this whole thing throughout this whole time has done amazing. She has helped us immensely, and we look forward to the next few years, with her as well. And, we just wanted to get a little bit of, just get a small token of our appreciation, and want to thank you for what you've done for the last few months. And
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'll leave you with quick sincere thanks and appreciation of your service as interim superintendent, Denny Public Schools 2025, with gratitude for your leadership, dedication, and commitment to our students and our community, Denny Public Schools Board of Education.
Thank you. Thank you, Gail. Thank you. Like, you guys take a picture with her? Yeah. Thank you. Shining in a little bit. Yeah.
Now you're.
Now you're-
No, and then the weird gap right there.
I know.
Thank you. On to consent agenda. One request I have for the minutes for regular meeting for May and June. Can we remove those and put those on the next one? We didn't get those in our packets. We just want to make sure that we stay in compliance with everything. So A, B, and C, we can strike from that, and then I'll entertain a motion based on everything else.
To approve the consent agenda with the exception of removing A, B, and C.
I'll second that.
Mr. Crowe.
Mrs. Cameron,
Yes.
Mrs. Paez,
Mhm.
Mrs. Crumley,
Yes.
Mr. Roscoe.
Yes.
Mr. Crowe, yes.
All right. That we're on to action items. I'm sure got some budget adjustments. So consideration of budget adjustment requests. Mr. Adcock.
Mr. President, members of the board, Superintendent Nips. We've got some bars here. It's kind of to true up what we've done so far so that, as we get to the end of the year, we'll have everything that we need. The first one is a decrease bar. As we've talked about with federal funds, there's been a lot of decreases of different things. This is a final award. We've had to decrease by just shy of $70,000. The next 5 are actual decrease bars, but what those are is each year whenever we do budgets, we have to estimate what our cash balance is going to be as of June 30th. And we're estimating what that cash balance is going to be in March and April. So there's a lot of things that can happen between then and the end of the year. And so what these 5 are is adjusting that cash balance to what was actually there. Because if we don't, we're gonna have more budget authority, more budget than what we had cash to spend. So then I'm moving on to number 12. Again, this one is actually an increase bar. This is for final award. Now, we have brought several Title I's to you over the past several months. Remember, we had that decrease, that big decrease of 729, then we had another adjustment. This one is actually bringing it back up a little bit, and it's all because of carryover funds from prior years that they're calculating based on what we spent.
Okay.
Number 13 is a transfer bar, and on those, we're just trying to move budget to the accounts that need some extra coverage for it. Number 14 is also a transfer bar. This is for Perkins. It's moving money from function 1000 to function 2200 because we had some professional development that we were covering in that. Number 15 is for our Kellogg. This was for the daycare. And so again, we're just moving some funds from place to place to cover what's already been spent, to make sure we had the proper budgets for those. Number 16 is our pre-K. This one here, we're moving money to indirect cost. So a lot of our federal funds, we're able to charge an indirect cost to those funds so that operating expenses that happen because of being able to run payroll, being able to pay the bills, the superintendent, all, technology, all of these things that are part of running the grant, but we can't contribute directly to that grant. So we're able to do indirect costs. For the NM pre-K program, we've historically only been able to do 1% of that grant spending for indirect cost. Most of the other federal funds are a little over 6%. Because of some changes in the NM pre-K program, we're able to go up to 7% now with indirect cost for them. And this is a budget adjustment to allow us to do that and catch it up for the year. The next one is, again, just correcting lines for the end of the year. And the last one is a transfer bar to cover some some adjustments that we need to cover the funds. Any questions on any of the action item parts?
Any questions by the board? Then I'll entertain a
I
motion.
got a question
Go ahead.
on the center, whatever, the little daycare center. It's done. This is the last time.
Yeah, and this is moving, adjusting it around for this year, and then we will make sure that everything is utilized before June 30, and then it won't be going into next year.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments by the board? If none, I'll entertain a motion.
I move to approve the budget adjustment request as presented.
I'll second that.
Mr. Kroll.
Yes, sir. Mrs. Cameron,
Yes.
Mrs. Paez,
Yes.
Mrs. Crumley,
Yes.
Mr. Orozco,
Yes.
Mr. Kroll, yes.
All right, and don't go anywhere. You're up again. Item B, consideration to approve amended operational budget for 2025-2026 school year.
Yes, Mr. President, members of the board, Superintendent Nips. So we've, on the May 15th board meeting, we brought you the operational funds. And there was a couple other building improvement funds and things that you approved for then. This list includes all of our federal funds that we have as we've gotten awards, and we put budgets together for those. Very similar to what we've done in the past. I know that Mr. Chavez presented to you the unified application. That was on the 29th, I believe it was. This funding is kind of tied to that unified application so that we've got it in those same places. Just a couple of things of note that I want to make sure that you're aware of. On the May 15th meeting, you did approve the operational funds. Because of our calendars and because of submissions up to PED, our SEG actually is reduced by about $575,000. That has to do with the calendars and secondary professional work hours that are allowed under the K-12 plus program. Beyond the knowing of what it is and how much it is, if you have specific questions about the calendars, we would need to speak to Mrs. Reinhardt or Mrs. Nips as far as specifics on those. One other thing of note that I wanted to make sure and put in there is on 31-200, which is the capital outlay fund. That one has increased by $131,000. The reason for that is because we got our allocations for that we did not have at the May 15th meeting.
Okay.
Is there any questions?
Do you expect the operational budget to change again? Just wondering.
Well, I don't expect it to change between now and July first.
Okay.
Now, there may be changes in next fiscal year that we end up doing because if you remember back to our budget meeting that we had, it's based on student enrollment, it's based on all of those adjustment factors. If those change, then that will end up changing our final allocation of SEG. Also, if Ted comes back and finds out that their unit value is different than what was estimated, then that will also affect our operational money next year.
That 575, does that have what kind of impact does that have on the school or on I mean, what's impacted by that?
So, I mean, it's based on the K-12 plus program, which is the additional days that we have over 180 days on our calendar. So it does impact as far as what we're able to do, but right now we can absorb that because we do have those cash balances and we do have some of those things. But going forward, we'll need to make sure and watch and make sure we don't have any reoccurring charges that exceed that SEG amount.
Okay. Any other questions? Comments by the board? No, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll move to approve the amended operational budget for 2025-2026 school year.
I'll second.
Mr. Crowe.
Mrs. Cameron,
Yes.
Mrs. Paez,
Yes.
Mr. Roscoe,
Yes.
Mrs. Crumley,
Yes.
Mr. Coletts.
With that, on to Mr. Simpson. Consideration to approve amended academic calendar for early college high school for 2024. I'm sorry, 2025, 2026 school year. I was going back a year. I apologize. Yeah.
I think this is the second or third time I've presented the calendar for early college, so hopefully we get it right this time. This one does reflect the start and end dates so that there's 167 instructional days, which matches the Western New Mexico University academic calendar. And it does, serve our students in that, since the university starts 3 weeks later than the public school system, in the past, we've had students sitting around twiddling their thumbs and we're trying to entertain them. And so this kind of brings their academic calendar in line with the start of their academic classes. We are starting a week before the college classes start to do a week of internship camp and mock interviews that the city and county support and participate with us in. And that is our calendar, 167 days.
We did remove one of the spring breaks, or one of the weeks in March too.
We did, and so it does reflect that, for example, in the spring, even though the public school system has 2 weeks of spring break, if you're taking a college class, you only have that 1 week for the university. And so you won't have to come to school, but you do have to do and keep up with your dual credit college coursework during that second week of spring break.
And just for clarification, this applies to juniors and seniors
It
only.
applies to juniors and seniors.
Can I ask a question? Why are we doing this now? Shouldn't we have done this at the beginning when we approved the calendars?
I agree. Was asked to redo it, and so I did.
But by who? You've already, yeah, go ahead.
I think part of the thing is we just did it how we've done it in the past. And when we really started digging into some of the requirements, we felt like so what we have to do is we have to input each calendar into a state website.
But don't you know that, Mr. Simpson? Don't you know that you?
No, he doesn't do it. It comes
Okay.
from, actually, I'll be honest, Joe did it. I don't know who did it in the past. I think Mrs. Chavez did it. And when they were inputted, I don't know if it reflected this part. So when we started putting in dates to be completely transparent of 11th and 12th, we had to
And it's
So
a
make some
changing,
adjustments.
it's a changing requirement from PED. This is only the second time we've done it. Last year, they had language that said that early college programs have a waiver in terms of the
Yes.
calendar instructional days. This year, that waiver was not in place. And so they did ask me to make sure that we met the rule to have 1140 instructional hours. And so that's why I restructured
Yes.
the calendar. So it's only 167 days, but it still meets the rule to have 11 instructional hours.
Yes.
And we kind of discovered this issue when we started dealing with our wind days. And we were having to report to the state that we had to submit a chart to the state to say, okay, that we've had this many days off and the school's meeting this many hours. They kind of pointed out, well, you're kind of different here. So we reevaluated what we were doing. To
But
try and
our
correct that.
regular calendar is right.
Our regular calendar is correct, yes, but when we started evaluating, okay, the state's looking at, we did have difference hours for the early college. We wanted to make it correct.
And it was
So-
difficult because Terry and I couldn't get access right away.
Right.
They said they gave us access, but then there was no, I still don't have access, to be honest. So that's where Joe was the hero, and got the access and started inputting this.
Right.
It'll be better.
It's accurate, because even our calendar that's adopted, it says on the bottom, it says this does not apply to early college, 11th and 12th graders, so we had to enter a different calendar, but we knew in reality the kids weren't meeting those exactly hours that the regular calendar was doing, so.
Okay.
We're being honest.
Any other questions, comments by the board? If none, I'll entertain a motion.
I make a motion to approve the academic calendar for early college, high school for 25-26 school year. I'll second.
Mr. Kroll.
Yes, sir. Mrs. Cameron,
Yes.
Mrs. Paez.
Yes.
Mr. Orozco,
Yes.
Mrs. Crumley,
Yes.
Mr. Crowe, yes.
Thank you, Mr. Simpson. On to item D, consideration to approve quote from Curriculum Associate for $134,328.26. Mr. Chavez. Small amount, small potatoes.
Mr. President, members of the board, Superintendent Nips. I am here on behalf of Mr. Wyman. These are in you remember you were in moral support. We're here to speak on the next three items on the agenda. It's quotes for some of our curriculum that we're purchasing online. The first one is the Curriculum and Associates. This is iReady Math. It's been a key program in our elementary schools for the past 2 years that we're seeing some steady growth in all of our data areas. We currently utilize the system to provide our K-5 students with an adaptive diagnostic assessment and personalized online instruction in mathematics. We're proposing to expand the use of this iReady in our middle schools and our grades 6 through 12. This expansion will ensure that our students will be consistent and they'll be able to follow their data more seamlessly from 5th to 6th. So during those transition years from elementary to middle school, intermediate to Red Mountain and so forth. And the kids are familiar with this program. This gives our middle school teachers immediate insight into their students' needs. So that's something that's definitely gonna help our secondary teachers to know exactly where the kids are and where their deficits are in order to help them. And this platform will help for that. It's also utilized in high school language arts for the layer 2 intervention for kind of some EL support. So that's time for questions.
Is the quoted amount on our agenda the correct amount? Because when I looked at the documents, there was a different figure. It was 145, 123.26.
I am not aware.
I would assume it's the quote that's
The
in the
quote is-
packet.
So
What do you show, Chuck?
I'm looking for Andrew's email.
Yeah, it says 145.
It should be what the quote said.
I assumed, but then I thought, well, maybe there was a discount that happened after. I don't know.
Yes.
could have happened.
May, I don't know.
Over the phone, he said he had emailed it to me, so let me see.
Or is it just a typo?
Well, the numbers are all
Yeah,
different.
it's not
so,
a.
like a transpose thing.
Thanks for catching it.
Oh, here's it. Yeah,
It's Mary.
yeah.
Oh.
Mr. Wertz,
And this is attached to an email. This is-
can I ask a favor, sir? The air,
It's hot.
can we turn the air down? No?
No, I'm going back to the office.
Oh, okay.
I would have.
So here you will see, please find the most up-to-date quote. And let me move my email out of the way. Yeah, and it showed like 34.
Yeah, it's not.
Okay, so it does show that that's the quote that we're gonna go with then.
So the one with the packet was maybe the wrong.
Use it.
It was the first one updated.
Oh, okay. So
got it
this is
updated.
the right one.
Yeah. Okay,
Okay.
So this is the right one.
Mhm.
Yes.
all right.
So the 135 is the right one. Thanks for catching that.
Yeah.
Okay,
Gina.
so any other questions, comments on that one? If not,
So we got the
entertain-
right figure then.
yes, according to the quote.
According to the emails.
Yeah.
The quote.
Receipt. Literally.
All right,
Yeah.
so I'll entertain a motion on that one.
I will move consideration to approve the quote from Curriculum Associate for $134, I can't see that, $1,328.26.
Okay, do I have a second?
One second.
Mr. Kroll.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Mrs. Cameron,
Yes.
Mrs. Paez,
Yes.
Mr. Roscoe,
Yes.
Mrs. Crumley,
Yes.
Mr. Crow, yes.
On to item E. Is there up again consideration to approve quote from iStation for 124,671.32.
Same thing.
That's
for any
close.
over
That's
many
close.
schools.
Correct. All right, so this one, Mr. President, members of the board, superintendent, this, Amira is now, replacing, iStation. It's an upgraded version of our reading assessment and our reading platform for our kiddos. That has gone more to an AI content. From what we've seen, we're very excited to this transition. Those of us that have been in instruction, and I've been dealing with iStation for many years, I've never been happy with how the assessment doesn't give a true form. Well, that's just Mondo's opinion, okay? But of what we're teaching compared to what we're assessing. And I think this is gonna be a bit closer to what we're actually, I think our data is gonna reflect better with using a mirror. But in that, we have to purchase, put the platform, what it's going to do. So I'm just gonna maybe read a little bit of what it's going to offer.
The state requires this in grades K-2 as an assessment. We're asking to purchase the additional supports that go along with it to
Up
help
to
the
eighth,
students.
up to eighth grade, correct?
Up to eighth grade. And what it is, it's when the kids are reading into their microphone, the AI support is a person and it stops them and makes adjustments throughout the software
So
program.
those miscues are gonna immediately they're gonna be able to learn and hear those miscues themselves because the AI is gonna be able to give them that feedback.
Like immediately.
Immediately there.
That's pretty
So
good.
it's almost like they're in a small group. While kids are in a small group with the teacher, they're also getting this type of small group. It's
Neat.
huge,
Very innovative.
very innovative.
And of course, it's also, it's just that's with fluency and it provides universal screening for just dyslexia risk. PED is approved to meet the requirements for dyslexia training, screening, saving our teachers hundreds of instructional hours by providing immediate actionable data. So we'll be able to utilize this in an instance to help our heroes.
Awesome. Questions by the board? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll move to approve the quote from iStation for $124,671.52.
I'll second that.
Mr. Kroll.
Yes, sir. Mrs. Cameron,
Yes.
Mrs. Paez,
Yes.
Mr. Roscoe,
Yes.
Mrs. Crumley,
Yes.
Mr. Crowe, yes.
Okay, and then one more time, consideration to approve quote for Renaissance for $71,036.52.
Thank you, Mr. President, members of the board, superintendent. It's the last one, the one we're presenting tonight is for our Renaissance platform. This is the Illuminate platform that we've also been utilizing. I guess this also has an update. This platform was utilized to provide over 65,000 assessments last year alone. This works out to about 13 assessments per student on an average in our district. We utilize this system for district level interims in K-12 for math and language arts, and additionally, our high schools utilize this program to develop science and math assessments as well. This program is vital to supporting the district division on implementing practices surrounding data-driven instruction.
Would you tell me again, or may I ask again, how many would be under this?
This platform would be for every child in the district. It's one of our assessment platforms that we use.
You mean like K-12?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
What it allows the teacher it breaks up the data, so you can pull it by standard, by question level, by DOK level, so they have immediate access. They don't have to go back and dig through, it's at their fingertips.
Why didn't they have that when I taught first grade?
I don't know.
Other questions by the board? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the consideration. Let's see. To approve the quote from Renaissance for $71,036.52.
Second.
Mr. Kroll.
Yes, sir. Mrs. Cameron,
Yes.
Mrs. Paez,
Yes.
Mr. Roscoe,
Yes.
Mrs. Crumley,
Yes.
Mr. Crowe, yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
On with that, on to H, consideration to approve Second Amendment to Fleet Service Agreement with Haynes Buses Incorporated.
Good evening, President Orozco, members of the board, superintendent Hicks. I'm going to be up here for a little while. We're going to start with the Second Amendment to Fleet Service Agreement with Haynes Buses. And so basically, in a nutshell, this is a recap. Back in January at a special meeting, you all approved the bus lease agreement, the amendment to that from Mr. Haynes for the rental fees for bus 68, which is our sped bus in Columbus. We had attrition that out the year 23-24, and he was waiting for his bus to arrive. Of course, that took a little bit longer. And so for 2 years, we've been having to do these bus lease agreements with him for rental fees. And what we're basically doing, he finally got his bus in December of this last year. And so we had to amend in January the bus lease agreement for the mileage. And so it took it down from a total of 178 days for a full year to only 91 days. And so that changed the mileage to 2,730 miles at 10 cents a mile for $273. And so that's why we're coming before you now to do the Second Amendment to this current fiscal year's contract with Mr. Haynes to deduct that amount for the rental fees. And so I stand for any questions and for this Second Amendment.
Questions by the board? Comments? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll move to approve the Second Amendment to Fleet Service Agreement with Haynes Buses Incorporated.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Kroll.
Mrs. Cameron,
Yes.
Mrs. Paez,
Yes.
Mr. Roscoe,
Yes.
Mrs. Crumley,
Yes.
Mr. Crowe, yes.
Okay. And with that, on to item I, consideration to approve initial fleet service agreement with Haynes Buses Incorporated and M&T Buses Incorporated for the 2025-2026 school year. Mr. Eason.
So that brings us to this upcoming school year. So we've had a successful relationship with the contractors. We have negotiated that increase from last year. And so this is what the new contracts are for, I'll start with Mr. Haynes' contract for a total of with rental fees and all, $984,435.22 for the upcoming school year. No changes in routes or miles.
Did you say that again?
Yes, ma'am. It's
I can't hear.
984,435.22.
Thank you.
Other than the 6% increase, did anything else change from prior year to this coming one?
Yes, ma'am. It also changed from the miles per mile from 180 to $2 per mile.
Any others?
That was all for Haynes buses.
What was the mileage cost attributed to?
So, when we talked in negotiations with the tariff fees, price of maintenance parts, everything has gone up. Not only for them, but for the district as well, and so that was the reasoning behind that there.
It wasn't associated with the cost of fuel, but the cost of maintenance to vehicles.
Yes, that is correct, that is what we.
Are we gonna cover both of these agreements in one, or do you want us to vote on that one first?
I probably go over both and then.
Yes, they're both on one.
The same, okay.
So on with MT buses, for the new school year, again, no changes in miles, the same amount of routes, their total came to $1,382,184.88.
Would you say that again? I don't know. Maybe I'm getting old again here.
$1,382,184.88.
Thank you.
I'm gonna make a suggestion for the next time. Then make sure that both of them are separated, so we vote separately on each one.
Was this one also same
Pretty much
changes, 6% across the board?
$2.
What's the justification for a 6% increase when staff only got 4% raises?
Basically what we attributed the 6% was that they do have a turnover, higher turnover than the district does, even though ours is pretty bad as well. We're able to retain drivers because of the benefit package. And so, we're hoping that that 6% can be reflected into their pay for drivers to try to recruit and retain drivers, which is always a challenge across the state. We hear that's a challenge for many districts.
How has ridership been for overall the last year or two?
District enrollment has decreased. I just compared the numbers, and from last year's 120th day, we were at 4,870. Excuse me. We were down 100 and no. Let me capture this real quick. Total bus riders were down 80, but local were up 105, and port of entry students were down 185. So there was a little bit of fluctuation there between where the students are getting on and off, but overall we were down by about 80.
And this is 80-day data,
120.
120-day data.
As far as like budgeting for this coming year goes, what buckets are we taking from to make up for the increase in this contract?
So we pretty much fall flat from the allocation, but for the district portion, we have to supplement from our operation.
What's that looking like on operational side for funding wise that we're kicking in?
That's where I can kind of have.
Mr. President, members of the board. One of the things in submitting these budgets to PED and them asking questions and making adjustments. They originally said that the state statute that they passed in House Bill 2 required us to give the 4% raise for staff in the to and from transportation of 13,000, which is the fund. In order to do that, I had to reduce the fund 13,000 for the contractors and absorb that through the operational funds. That number was about $45,000. They then come back and said, no, you need to put the contractor back in the 13,000 and adjust your salaries basically, so the 4% increase then gets absorbed through the operational fund, is how that works with the to and from transportation. So kind of the bottom line to that is our increase for 13,000 was what, about $120,000. It ended up with the 6% increase both in salaries and benefits to the contractors and in mileage to the contractors. Ended up taking all of that. And so we ended up having to absorb all of that 4% in the operational budget.
What does operational budget generally cover? For those that are even listening, just so that everyone knows what that.
Okay, so the operational budget has always had to supplement the transportation department to a certain degree.
Mhm.
I think we've been supplementing for about $500,000 is what we've ended up having to supplement using operational funds for this with from transportation. And a lot of that cost, the cost of the contractors has always been paid for by the to and from transportation at 13,000. The other cost associated with it, personnel, supplies, those types of things have been, is what operational is paid for.
When you say 13,000, basically saying the line item number,
Right.
13,000.
The fund,
Yeah.
that's correct. Because we get funded separately for to and from transportation, and that's the fund number that ED is assigned back.
Any questions by the board? Any comments?
When you said negotiations, who was part of the negotiation, process?
Who did the negotiation?
Yeah,
So we usually have a series of meetings. The first meeting is handled by Ms. Mora and I, and the contractors. We meet individually with them, go through pretty much an evaluation process of what the year looked like, the pros and cons and just goals, refresh our goals. We kind of set the stage for the actual negotiations, which then we include a team of district officials. We included Mr. Adcock, Mr. Parker, Superintendent Nips, and then our department as well. And then we come together with both contractors to the table and negotiate from there. They make an offer or a request, and then that's how the negotiations start.
thank you.
I'm gonna move that we table consideration to approve these two contracts. I have additional questions that I'd like to request a special meeting to discuss first.
So motion on the table, any, do I have a second? No second heard? So it comes back up for discussion again? Is that what we're saying?
Yes, but you can also make a second if you would.
Yeah, I think we do need to table it. We can split those two contracts. We want to make sure we get this right with the contracts. I know there's been some issues throughout the year, and we want to make this process as smooth as possible. This is a partnership, and we want to make it a partnership, and we want to be able to have clear understanding and clear lines of where everybody sits. And I think that's kind of gotten a little skewed over time. And so I think that we want to make sure that we do this right. It's a lot of money, a lot of taxpayer money, a lot of community money that we have to justify, and we want to make those decisions correctly. And so with that, I do think we need to table it, get some of those questions answered, and then come back and revisit this again. We don't want to delay this any more than what we have to, but we definitely want to make some things clear. We want to be able to have some understanding by both sides. That way we know as we go through this whole process, it's seamless, it's everybody knows where they need to be, and we don't have any issues with the upcoming school. So. Mr. Kroll? Do we?
You gotta vote on.
Yes.
Let's repeat again what we're voting for so everybody's clear.
We're voting to table item
Aye.
I.
Mrs. Cameron.
Yes.
Mrs. Paez.
No.
Mr. Orozco.
Yes.
Mrs. Cameron. Or Mrs. Crowley, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Mr. Crowley.
2 to 3,
Yes.
so it gets tabled? Okay.
And if you'll let us know your questions, we'll make sure we can get them addressed.
And with that, on to item J, consideration to approve DPS Transportation Department Memorandum of Understanding for the following. Mr. Viso, between DPS and DCCHS.
So at this time, I would defer a question to, Lieutenant Mitz, because if we don't have the fleet service agreement, the rest of this kind of hinges on having those two contractors in place to be able to provide additional services. So I think it's my understanding that if
So we just,
fleet service contracts, we'll have to table it and we'll use it till further.
do we need to vote on it?
Yeah, let's do that. That'd be clear.
Okay, might as well mention them all.
What's that?
We gotta mention them all so we can vote them all.
Yeah, so we're gonna, so I'll entertain a motion for J.
I'll move to table item J, which is the DPS Transportation Department Memorandum of Understandings as listed on the agenda.
Mrs. Cameron?
I'll second it,
Oh, second, yeah.
and then go ahead.
Mrs. Cameron?
To table is what the motion is.
Yes.
Yes.
Mrs. Paez?
No.
Mr. Roscoe?
Yes.
Mrs. Mrs. Crumley?
Yes.
Mr. Crono?
Okay, so 3-2 again? Okay, so we're on to item K. Consideration to approve resolution for 25-12 for disposal of technology items through public auction. Mr. Glickler.
Superintendent Nix, President Roscoe, members of the board, you have before you a proposal to approve the auction of 67 of our items in technology inventory. Ordinarily, our policy would say that only the first item we need to go before you. It's the only one over $1,000, but I do try to bring you our computers when we're trying to sell them because we do have so many of them. Of these 67 items, most of them are laptops. They're either laptops that were purchased right around the beginning of quarantine and have been through the ringer in the hands of students and are no longer repairable. Or there are some of the laptops that are the first items that we purchased with the tech bomb we did back in 2016, 2017 timeframe, and they're pretty obsolete. The exception are a couple of items. One is a printer of unknown provenance. I don't know what it is. It's from 2016 and it costs $160. We'd like to get rid of it. The other one is a projector that we purchased. It is fairly new and it's over $2,000. One of the challenges that we're having with Deming High School and the intermediate schools, we have a number of short-term projectors on the walls that we're trying to piece up to date and working. It's not always easy, sometimes they break. And we took a risk on this particular projector because we found one that was an exact model replacement. It turns out we could buy it as is. It turns out as is it doesn't work. So we couldn't get it working and we would like approval to get rid of it in case we can't get it. With that, I stand for any questions.
Any questions by the board? If not, I'll entertain a motion. Thank you, sir.
I move to approve resolution 25-12 for disposal of technology items through public auction.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Kroll.
Yes, sir. Mrs. Cameron?
Yes.
Mrs. Paez?
Yes.
Mr. Roscoe?
Yes.
Mrs. Crumley?
Yes.
Mr. Crowe, yes.
Thank you. And if I can borrow another 60 seconds.
Yes, sir.
Quick shout out to my team who are currently in the process of preparing more laptops for exactly this sort of conversation. We have hundreds, literally hundreds of obsolete laptops that are pulling out of storage in high school that are 8, 9, 10 years old. That my team this week is working on destroying the data on the drive so that we can have them ready for sale. Many of them are laptops that you've already sold, but it's a really exciting, or sorry, already approved for sale. But it's a really exciting project. It's an opportunity for the technology team to do sort of an all hands on deck thing. Our technicians from our various school sites all get to come together, the technology center, and work on this as a team. They seem to be really enjoying it, or they're very good vibes. And we're getting a lot done. They're getting them very, very quickly in terms of preparing for disposition. So that's the tail end of the process that you initiated here today. I wanted to sort of expose that to you and thank you for your support.
Well, and I want to commend him because he's a leader that leads by example. He's in there doing it with them. So, and he said he even enjoys it. So
I do enjoy it. Every year I get to go get paper cuts and box laptops. It's a lot of fun. If you're ever bored and the June timeframe, you can come join us and unbox them with them.
Thank you.
You can add gloves to your budget next year, so you don't get the paper cuts.
One warehouse person asked why we don't have more saved here. These gloves will be on the.
Yes, sir. Thank you. On to consideration to approve resolution for disposal of miscellaneous items off the district inventory. Mr. Wertz. And company.
President, members of the board, taking this, let's start off. This is, Alvaro Duarte, who is currently serving as the Assistant Director of Facilities. And with all things hopefully in place, he will be taking over from the August 1. So he's been learning everything and he's come up here to, he will be presenting everything moving forward. I will be doing nothing. We have before you, I think it's 11 or 12 items that are over $5,000 that we're asking for removal from our inventory system. These items have been with us, hanging around with us for the last 3 years. And for different various reasons, some of them we've just never been able to locate as we've been really getting into our inventory system, which we feel like we have a really good handle on this year. And we're really just kind of trying to clean up the books and make sure that we have the process right where this can go to the state and get approved for removal from our system. So you can see that there's some various things. One of them was stolen. The 2 nights we had the fencing removed from the stadium, they broke in and stole our ATV. You know, things happen and some of these broke. They've just reached their usability and they're no longer functioning. And so they were removed one way or the other. And then others we've just never been able to really locate. It's time for any questions.
Questions, comments by the board?
The only comment I have is that we're gonna miss you, Mr. Wertz. We appreciate you very much. You've worked a long time. And so we just wanted to know that.
I figure 30 years is the number for us.
Any other questions, comments? Now I'll entertain a motion.
I make a motion to approve the resolution of disposal of miscellaneous items off the district inventory.
I'll second that.
Mr. Crowe.
Mrs. Cameron,
Yes.
Mrs. Paez.
Yes.
Mr. Roscoe.
Yes,
Mrs. Crumley.
Yes.
Mr. Crowe, yes.
thank you.
Thank you.
And we do echo that, Mr. Wertz. We're gonna miss you. So,
Yeah. Thank you for everything.
thank you for all you've done for the district and for us.
We can just leave off resignations.
What? Can that be a part of the vote?
Yeah.
Like this thing that we're voting on, can they like add that? Like if we don't allow it, then you can't retire?
So the second item on there is for the disposal of the 1,000 to 4,999 items, and it's a pretty small list. Some of those are items that we tagged, and through attrition that we have in the schools, just disappeared. One year they're there, next year they're not. We can't find them anywhere. Others are items that have kind of hit their time. They're no longer useful. They've broken. For different reasons. I mean, you can pick a reason and there's probably an item on there for that. So we're just coming to the board because you guys request to have items at the 1,000 to 499.99 reported to you. And so here again, we're trying to clean up our list and be able to start next year with a fresh, clean list of things that we need to locate. And all of these items have been on the list. We've been hunting for them for at least 2 years and we don't have them.
When you say that you can't find them and do you suspect that they're stolen?
I'm not gonna go there.
I just thought, well, if it's there, you would have found it, right?
It's possible.
Okay.
To this place.
Yeah.
But searching for 2 years and they're just gone.
Some of those I personally tagged and inventoried. Some of them were personally delivered to the sites, and then the next year
Out there?
Teachers like, well, I don't know where they're at.
Okay.
We know that they're there. Some of them were, yeah, I mean, there's everything in the world on there. And some of them are just have been thrown away. And I think that's one thing that moving forward, we maybe need to do a little more education with the teachers and staff on what inventory is. And because I can't tell you how many times I've stopped people from just putting things in the dumpster. I said, let us pick them up, just put them on auction. That way it covers everybody. So, yeah, just kind of everything. But I'm not accusing anybody because, there's a lot of people with keys at every facility that can get into any room. And so accusing an individual or multiple, I don't think we can do that. I can just say that they're missing.
No, and I don't want you to accuse anybody. I don't want you to think that's where I was going. I truly, that's where my brain went, was if you can't find it,
Yeah.
is it stolen? I just
Well,
wondered.
and you gotta also understand the movement in the district. We know exactly what something is and it's sitting right there. And next year we come and it's not there. And we start talking to people and asking, but we may not hit the right person in that building. Oh yeah, that's down in the storage room over here.
Mhm.
And that happens a ton. And it might be that we end up finding one of these next year as we go through inventory and looking for things, but Alvaro's been helping me and he's learned what a bear this inventory is. It's not an easy thing to do. And we've kind of extended all of our resources trying to find these, and we're really close to putting that particular 1,000 to 499 to bed, but we got just a handful more things to go find. So.
Okay, thank you.
It was already voted on, so we can move on. Thank you all. Appreciate it.
I almost took it.
No problem. I think you're done, Mr. Wertz. Looks like consideration to approve asset certification for equipment valued over 5,000, as Mr. Adcock listed
You're
there.
up on next.
Mr. President, members of the board, Superintendent Nips. So each year we have to certify that we've gone through and looked at every asset, every movable piece of equipment that's over $5,000. Mr. Wertz goes through and does it for vehicles and for a lot of the pieces going through. Mr. Glickler's team goes through and does it for technology assets. We take those two pieces of information and we put it in divisions, which is our system of records for assets. And so this is the list of all of those assets that we're tracking that are over $5,000. A lot of these could potentially have been already fully depreciated, but they're still in the district, still being used. And so this is that certification. In years past, we've come to you in August usually with this, but this year, with the two groups working together, we were able to get this done quicker and be able to present to you in June.
Any questions by the board? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Resolution, is that the?
Consideration to approve asset certification for equipment valued at over 5,000.
To approve the asset certification for equipment valued over $5,000.
Have a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Kroll.
Yes. Mrs. Cameron,
Yes.
Mrs. Paez,
Yes.
Mr. Roscoe,
Yes.
Mrs. Crumley.
Yes.
Mr. Crowe, yes.
Okay. Mr. Wertz, you're back up again. So consideration of approval of memorandum of understanding between DPS and DCCHS for maintenance to DCCHS building and grounds. It's a lot of C's.
President Roscoe, members of the board, and Superintendent Nips. What you have before you is basically the same MOU we've had running for at least 6, maybe 7 years between the maintenance department and Cesar Chavez. Basically, we go over there and prescribe or any work that they're prescribing for us to do. We go and complete that. They are responsible for purchasing of materials. And on the occasion that we have to, that we may have something in stock that we can fix right away rather than ordering. That might end up going through that 2% holdback that we have. But for the most part, we don't go over there and do any work unless they request it. And it's done through the work order system. And then if it's anything expensive, they buy the parts before we come back and do it. So there's nothing really. The only change on this is the date from what we did last year. And probably some signatures and stuff. It's time for any questions.
Questions, comments by the board?
No, but I like to hear that it's working together. Yeah, and seems to be on a good road, so I appreciate that.
Other comments? Entertain a motion.
Move to approve the memorandum of understanding between DPS and DCCCHS for maintenance to DCCCHS building and grounds.
I'll second.
Mr. Kroll.
Mrs. Cameron.
Yeah.
Mrs. Paez,
Yes.
Mr. Roscoe.
Yes.
Mrs. Crumley.
Yes.
Mr. Crow, yes.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes, thank
Thank you.
you.
Appreciate it. On to,
Much better.
yeah, on to item O, consideration of adoption of science curriculum, Dr. Laura Oldham and Mrs. Reinhardt.
President Orozco, members of the board, Superintendent Nix. We stand before you today I'm gonna allow Dr. Oldham is gonna talk to you about the process that we went through to choose the science curriculum, and then we're going to talk about both. So I'll turn it over to Dr. Oldham. Thank you.
President Orozco, members of the superintendent. What you have before you is so far as the post. I talked a little bit about our process last time. So I don't want to get too in the weeds. But what ended up happening was we came to some conclusions based on the needs of our students. What's called instructional coherence, so the ability to make more sense of knowledge. So for elementary, we went with Savas in part because our elementary program, language arts program is Savas, and most of the time what happens is that science occurs in the language arts block. And so with Savas is going to be the easiest integration so that students actually get science instruction. Mr. Orozco, you said asked last time about the bells and whistles, and that also ensures that we get the kits so that students can have that hands-on science experience that is so important with science. Also, it's something that's the fun part. Yeah. And then you also have the two from McGraw-Hill. Those are our secondary. So DIS, RMMS, and high school. And those were also chosen with the intent of instructional coherence, this time vertically. So the routines that students learn in middle school to learn science continue from 6th grade through 12th grade. And it also, one of the things that the high school teachers asked for were lab materials. And so it will also allow us to sit down with those teachers, determine what they need in terms of the labs they want to do for their kids or with their kids, and then help them purchase those lab materials. There is, I know, Senate ages in there also, that's an elective, those are 2 elective courses. That the teacher is teaching those elective courses. Those materials. Thank you.
And we apologize because you got the paper copies of the McGraw, they were in 2 separate folders and we didn't catch the second folder, so that's why you have a hard copy.
And so elementary is going with Savas and secondary is going with what? McGraw-Hill.
It has primarily to do with the difference between elementary and secondary is, so elementary teachers said the one thing they don't have enough of is time. And so with Savas Science, what they can do is go into their language arts. Let's say we have unit 2, week 1, here's my story. I can take this story out, put in one of the science texts, and hit the same instructional standards that need to be hit with that text. without having to extend their instructional time, because now I have to, in addition to doing my reading for language arts, I also have to do reading for science. In terms of the ability to retain information, if information is related to each other, then students are more likely to retain it than if we have a number of disparate things happening. And so it's part of that thought process.
What is the difference in cost here?
Between what and what?
The science curriculum.
And I'm not sure I
Between
understand.
secondary and elementary. Is that what you mean, Stanley?
So is the last one the secondary?
Yes, so you have two papers. One is middle school, the other one is high school. So you get two packets that are paper based. One is middle school, one is for middle school, one is for high school. They will run on separate cards.
Okay.
So the 168 would be the secondary because of the content.
Yes.
Biology, chemistry,
Yes.
physics.
Yes.
The 168 is secondary, and then the 261 is middle school. The middle school is start higher because it does include those kits. The publishers that high school was looking at, none of them had materials kits for that. And that was the thing that elementary and secondary and middle school explicitly asked for.
So in this 540,000,
That one is elementary.
that's all elementary, and
Yes.
but it includes the
It includes,
kits and.
yes.
Yes.
Yes,
For all students.
yes, well, yes.
Yes.
And the refills from year to year.
Say that.
And the refills from year to
Oh,
year, so
okay.
the consumable pieces that get used by students,
Uh-huh.
the company will replace those as part of the cost.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Can I just make a comment?
Sure.
When you see the cost, these numbers, it just seems like an awful lot of money. Comparatively from a few years past, has that number jumped significantly? Or is it pretty comparable to what it was before?
So I was not part of the last science adoption 6 years ago, but what I can say from the several adoptions I've been a part of, the biggest difference is the science kits. So those materials that, especially those, the consumable pieces that have to be replaced directly that gets used. That is quite a bit of the cost for science.
So basically what you're saying is this is for the next 6 years?
Yes.
Am I right?
Yes.
Okay, so if you broke it down year by year, it wouldn't be as much as it looks like?
Yes, but not done that math, but yes.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'm understanding it now.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes.
And like next year, we'll be looking at a math reduction.
Yes.
Okay, and that would be also for another 6 years?
Yes.
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 Okay,
Every year, there's like a different reduction.
okay, thank you.
Math will
Yeah, that
be very
clarifies a lot.
expensive Forward,
Yeah.
we're assuming.
Well, a lot of this money for these is allocated by the state, correct?
We got our allocation.
And the thing that these companies know what's allocated by the state, and so they come pretty dang close to what is, whether that is the actual cost or whether that's just, but they come pretty close to it, from my understanding, yeah.
Thank you.
Mr. President, one of the things that the state did recently, and when I say recently, over the last couple of years, is they've actually integrated that allocation in the SEG numbers. So in your unit values and all of that, it's allocated, where years prior, they had a completely separate fund that they would allocate it with. And so to your point, whenever it was that way, it was very clear what those allocations were. But now that it's been kind of integrated into that SEG,
That
it's
may
a little
help.
bit harder for companies to see that.
Makes sense. That helps a little bit.
And we can get it cheaper, huh? And negotiate a little bit.
So what happens in terms of the adoption process with the NMPED, they bring teachers together every summer to review the instructional materials, and they put together an adopted list. And part of what happens with that adopted list is it comes with here are the prices. And as I understand it, that is not negotiable because the state did that negotiation already.
Thank you. You're very, very knowledgeable. Thank you. Yeah, she is.
Very.
Thank you, Laura, for the work.
Any other questions, comments by the board? No more discounts?
We could have got a grill.
Yeah, Physio TV, something.
No.
Take that back.
Yeah. That's all about science. Yeah. Any other questions, comments? If none, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll move to adopt the science curriculum presented by Dr. Oldham.
I'll second that.
Mr. Kroll.
Sarah. Mrs. Cameron.
Yes.
Mrs. Paez.
Yes.
Mrs. Crumley.
Yes.
Mr. Orozco.
Yes.
Mr. Crow, yes. Thank you guys very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. With that, we're on to announcements. I'll take this time and thank Mr. Fred Parker. He's not present this evening, but he's gonna be probably online.
It might be, I'm not sure.
But been with the district for a total of 9 years and worn many hats throughout the district and he'll be leaving us come June 30th. So very appreciative of his contributions to the district and he will be missed. So. Any requests for agenda items? The next regular meeting will be held July 17th, 2025 at 5:30 PM at the Emmett Shockley Administration Building, 400 Cody Road here in Deming. And with that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Are we going into?
There's no closed session.
I make a motion that we do.
Do you have a second?
Second.
Mr. Kroll.
Yes, sir. Mrs. Cameron.
Yes.
Mrs. Paez.
Yes.
Mr. Orozco.
Yes.
Mrs. Crumley.
Yes.
Mr. Crow, yes.